Alright, hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle, and I just finished watching the Nintendo Direct for Fire Emblem, and I was super excited for this. When I heard that they were going to have a specifically dedicated Nintendo Direct just for Fire Emblem, just a few days after the Nintendo Direct for Nintendo Switch, I was like, this is awesome! They're feeling pretty confident with Fire Emblem right now. And they did talk about 3 games. Unfortunately, it was mainly, I think, to push the Fire Emblem mobile game because they spent the majority of the time, they spent more time with just that title than the other 2 titles completely. And I was just like, really? Like, I have really mixed feelings about the mobile game because I just don't like mobile games, period. But in terms of a mobile game, it's not that bad. Anyway, okay, so I'll start with what they started with, which I think was a complete surprise. And it is a new 3DS game coming out for Fire Emblem that is kind of like a remake or a reimagining of the second Fire Emblem game ever made. And being completely redone and rethought of basically for the 3DS. And it's coming out like in the next few months. Like it's coming out like before June. I think it was May, but I could be wrong. I don't remember anymore. It might have been March. I think it was one of the months that started with an M. Anyway, that's coming out for the 3DS, which I was thinking that like after the Switch was going to be made, that they'd slowly start, and I still think that they will start slowly phasing out the 3DS, but the Wii U I don't think is going to have anything on the horizon. And I think the 3DS will keep going for maybe 2017 and a little bit into 2018, and then they're slowly going to start focusing on the Switch solely. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I think they're going to go with. So that's really awesome that we're getting another Fire Emblem game. I would have liked if they had like a new Fire Emblem game specifically for console, but it's not. So that looked really cool, and I think that's called Fire Emblem Echoes, and it had another name after Echoes, like Fire Emblem Fates, and there's like Birthright and Revelations and all that stuff. So it's something like that. So it's like Fire Emblem's Echoes, and it's something else, which is basically Fire Emblem 2. I felt that the storyline at the beginning was kind of like about the gods, like the 2 different gods that are siblings. I found that was kind of like, I wasn't super interested in that. But the gameplay looked like any other Fire Emblem game. So I'm looking forward to that. Then they showed a little bit more into Fire Emblem Warriors, which is the Dynasty Warriors type of game that is specifically regarding the Fire Emblem series, kind of like what Hyrule Warriors was, or Dragon Quest Heroes. So they showed like a very brief clip of, I think it was Chrom, which is awesome, going through and hacking a bunch of people. So that was really cool. And then that was it. Then they said that that's coming out, I think, in the fall of 2017, and it's also coming out for the new 3DS. So that's cool that it's not only coming out to the Switch, but it's also being made for the 3DS, but only the new 3DS. I know that that's like, it kind of stuff for people that just have the regular 3DS, but like there was only one other game so far made for the new 3DS, and it's kind of cool that they're kind of pushing that a little bit more, even though they're probably going to start phasing the 3DS out completely in a while. But anyway, that was kind of cool. So they had that, and then they talked about the mobile game, which is Fire Emblem Heroes, which is a good idea to an extent. It's basically you're going through this game and you get to summon heroes from the past, like all the old Fire Emblem games, bring these characters in, and then we can actually vote today and for the next little while of what other heroes we would like to see show up in the actual game itself. That's kind of cool. The only thing is that it's a much smaller grid for the game because it's on mobile, which I was like, that kind of sucks. I understand why they're doing it, but it's smaller. You're not going to be able to do as much. And the characters, like the little sprites that they had, were really like, I don't know, chibi-ish. Like they were really childish, I find. Like very cartoonish. And I wasn't a huge fan of that either. I like the idea and the concept of this, but not for mobile, not the way that they're making it. It's a much smaller grid. And the style that they were using for the 2D sprites, I didn't really like that. But there was quite a few characters that they had in there, and I was like, that's freaking awesome. Anything with Awakening, I'm super happy with. So they showed Robin, they showed Chrom, they showed a few other characters that I was familiar with, also from the Fire Emblem Fates. But yeah, and then there was like, you could choose Marth, Ike, all really popular Fire Emblem characters to be in the game. And they spent so much time talking about this. I did actually find the guy that was talking, though, like doing the voiceover, he was kind of funny. So that was like, there was a few parts where I was kind of, I actually smirked. And I was like, that wasn't a bad joke. So that was kind of cool, but it's just unfortunate that it's a mobile game. I'll probably never touch this. I think it is free to play, and you can buy like additional orbs or something. I can't remember what it was, but I think it was like something like orbs to summon the extra heroes into the game to be in your party. It's a mobile game, so I'm never going to really play it, but it's free to play, so I'll probably try it out at some point. It's just, I really don't see myself delving into this nearly as much as I will with Echoes, which I think I'm just super excited for. And to an extent, I am excited for Warriors as well. I just wish that they would have spent a little bit more time showing a little bit more, especially since the game is coming out in fall. Like, it's coming out this year. They could have shown a little bit more of the game, but I guess that they're waiting a little bit longer to push that out. So either way, I was generally pretty happy with this. Echoes, I'm looking forward to much more than Warriors and Heroes. I'm barely looking forward to. Warriors, I probably will pick up eventually as well. But here, Echoes, I'm excited for, but I'm not nearly as excited as I was for Awakening, and that was my first Fire Emblem game. Ended up loving it, so then I was super hyped for Fates, and then now Echoes is like, just, it's not nearly as high as even Awakening was. Although Awakening, I think, is the better game of the Fates and Awakening, but I was more hyped for Fates because I had played Awakening, if that makes sense. So anyway, lots of Fire Emblem games coming out, which is cool in one way. Just sucks that they focused a lot on the mobile game. So let me know in the comments below what you think about these 3 games, and I will talk to you all later. You've been bearded in Beardage.